So hello and welcome to Let's Talk SEO. Today I have an interesting story for you. A story about a website that went from nothing to over 1 million clicks a day. And I'm not just talking about any site, I'm talking about Forbes, but this is not the Forbes you're all familiar with. This is not the regular, Forbes that posts articles about entrepreneurs, entrepreneurships, and businesses. In fact, it is the same website, but it has been hijacked. This is an interesting story, as I said. And before I get into this, like and subscribe, and there's a link to the article that I discuss in this video in the description. Read the article. I have nothing to do with the person that wrote this article or the website. I just found this really interesting. I think a lot of you people that watch my channel will find this very interesting. So, you're seeing Forbes everywhere. So whether you search for pet insurance, whether you search for best CBD gummies, and even if you search for how to get rid of cockroaches, it appears number 2, or at least it did. Now, interestingly, that you get the URL that appeared number 2 for how to get rid of roaches. It's forbes.com/pest control/how to get rid of roaches. So it's very SEO like. And here's how the story goes. So this is not really Forbes. Forbes partnered with an SEO company called Marketplace, or Forbes Marketplace to be precise. And what they did was they went ahead and used good old Parasite SEO to post literally thousands of articles that banked up Forbes credibility, banked up Forbes market share in search, and also backed up Forbes just high trustworthiness. So anything that Forbes posts does very well because Google trusts the site. And as you know from my algorithm videos, that there are certain websites that Google will just rank better than all other websites. So, it can do no harm and it can do no bad, which is why they by default will rank for just about anything under the sun. But in this case, Google has taken action. So what has really happened here, if none of those Google rankings are by accident, one day they went ahead, they posted millions of articles on just about everything under the sun. So in less than 4 years, they went from 0 to, let me get this correct, to over like 1 million, 2 million clicks a month, okay? And they also had sections. So what they did when Forbes mainly became Forbes Marketplace is they created sections for home improvement, categories for home improvement. They created categories for health. So Forbes.com/health, Forbes.com Marketplace essentially. So Forbes Advisor, which is one of the categories. So Forbes.com/advisor was 20.6 million search visitors. So that alone is something. The next category, Forbes Home Improvement, 2.9 million search visits. Forbes Health, 3.8 million search visits. A total of 27.3 million search visits just by this Parasite SEO, all right? So I take my words back. Well, just not 1 million clicks a month. It was over 27 million clicks a month. And they did this in less than 4 years, okay? So for context, if you want to compare, NerdWallet, which is if you're into finance stuff, it gets 4 million search visits a month across its entire marketplace. At Forbes Marketplace is twice as much as NerdWallet. So, and NerdWallet was founded back in 2009, and it took them 15 years to get as big as they are. And Forbes Marketplace went from nothing to twice as much as NerdWallet in a span of 4 years. So in a fraction of that time. So, and if you look at their Ahrefs data, it's clear, they have been doing something, obviously, right? So it is Parasite SEO. Anyone who watches my channel knows what Parasite SEO is. And so Forbes Marketplace, they were also working on Forbes betting for the last 2 years, and it was already like 455K searches a month. So that's a lot. And then they were number 1 organically for NFL, NBA, MLB, MLS, and a lot more. So all these sports terms were literally theirs, and they were just banking off Forbes trustworthiness and the fact that Google just loves Forbes. So Now, if you want to do like a deep dive into like Forbes Marketplace and how the deal went out and who really owned Forbes Marketplace, now we don't know who owns Forbes Marketplace for sure. Their SEC filings, perhaps, and that will probably tell them something. And this article goes into all of that detail, and that's not the point of this video. But there's a link to the article, and you can read it. The point of my article here is that they were manually penalized, and so their traffic has hit rock bottom in just a matter of days because Google figured out that they were using Parasite SEO, and then after that they were hit. And they were hit by, not in my opinion and of the opinion of many other SEOs, they were hit by mainly the reputation abuse policy. And the reputation abuse policy by Google is for now it's a manual hit. So if Google finds, or someone reports, or if people report that there is a website abusing its reputation, they will be hit. And in this case, I think Forbes Marketplace, which became more like Forbes Parasite Marketplace, was hit by a manual penalty because they drop. If you look at the chart here, their drop is dramatic, and it's not just a dramatic drop, they're still dropping. So those 27 million organic visitors that they're getting, I think they're going to go down to zero. And so the next question is, will this affect the main Forbes domain? I think perhaps it will, and because what Google is doing here is it's turning the dials on your reputation. So it will, let's say the reputation is from 1 to 100, with 100 being the best of the best. Google will just turn the dial down to 20. Google will not just turn the dial down on individual categories. It turned the dial down on the entire domain. So in my opinion and in my experience, this is not just going to be a few categories or a few hundred pages that this Forbes Marketplace had published, this SEO company, but in fact, it's going to be the entirety of the Forbes domain. Also, it's important to bear in mind that there has been a recent update to Google's spam policy, and in particular when it comes to this Forbes debacle, it has to do with the site reputation abuse policy. So now, and I quote, "Close oversight or involvement is when the first-party hosting site is directly producing or generating unique content. For example, via staff directly employed by first-party or freelancers working or staff of the first-party site. It is not working with third-party services, such as white label or turnkey, that focus on redistributing content with the primary purpose of manipulating search rankings." But Google has made other changes as well. So what this means is, the other changes I'm just going to go through real quick so that you get an idea of what other changes I made. By the looks of it, this is a domain-wide reputation abuse hit, and it's a manual hit. And Google has also recently updated their policies, which is why I think is one of the reasons that Forbes Marketplace was hit. How exactly Forbes goes about recovering from this is a whole different story. Forbes is a huge brand. They probably know people who know people in Google, and they can probably get this sorted out. My opinion is that until that is sorted out, this is a huge problem for Forbes, because then now it means a lot of their genuine articles that people want to read might not rank as well as they would. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this, and if this type of Parasite SEO is now something that Google is going to target, even if you're using a highly reputed brand like Forbes. Like and subscribe as always, guys, and I will see you in the next video.